The Mama Sapano massacre that killed 44 members of the Philippine National Police Special Action Force will mark its 10th year tomorrow. After 10 years, why is justice still elusive for the families of the Mama Sapano massacre? We have on the line the person tasked to lead the investigation of the Mama Sapano massacre years ago, retired police director and now mayor of Baguio City, Benjamin Magalong. Good morning, Mayor Benji.
Good morning, Attorney Karen. Good morning din po sa ating mga viewers.
Mayor Benji, it's been 10 years since the Mama Sapano massacre occurred. Can you briefly refresh our memories on what happened at that time?
Okay. First of all, I would like to express my deepest sympathies to all the families who continue to bear yung loss nila. No? Dahil talaga nakakalungkot after 10 years, wala pa rin judgment. Kumbaga, parang kulang pa rin. Wala pa rin sila naramdaman na justice. But anyway, this was the incident we're in. They were after Marwan, one of the wanted criminals in the entire planet. Si Marwan, who was responsible for the death of many Americans, many Europeans, including Filipinos as well, Asians, during series of bombings. At ito yung project nila. It was very unfortunate that they were able to kill Marwan, but in the process, 44 of our SAF troopers, including many of the MILS fighters and some civilians were also killed here. Kaya nakakalungkot na because of miscommunication, at the same time lack of collaboration and coordination, this happened. And nakakalungkot din. That serves as a napakaraming lessons na nakuha natin dito. And probably later on, I'll be mentioning all these lessons.
Yes. And Mayor Benji, at the time, there were over 1,000 people that opened fired at the SAF, at the Special Armed Forces. Would you know po kung this was a concerted group, or were they all from the community that reacted to the SAF being in their area?
Well, I've operated in those areas, Attorney Karen. And you're not only fighting regular armed fighters dito. Once na-encuentro ang regular armed fighters, during that time, tutulong ang community. Kaya nga nagkakaroon ng yung typical word na pintakasi. Di mo na alam kung saan gagaling yung puto kasi pati community na kalaban mo na eh. That's how they band together. Maski na magkakaaway sila, pero against a common enemy, nagbaban talaga sila. Pero nabago na rin ang kanilang pananaw ngayon because of this peace process. Kaya lang during that time talaga, almost siguro mga 800 to 1,000 fighters were there. Combination na yan ng community, members of the community at yung mga armed regulars nila. Kaya lalo-lalo na yung nung naubos na nila yung nandun sa field, sa cornfield, at hinahabol na nila yung members ng Seaborn. This is the elite of the elite in the Philippine National Police Special Action Force. At binabanggit sa akin ng isang battalion commander ng MILF na nagtulong-tulong daw sila dun eh. Pinagtulungan daw sila pero they were really surprised that on the expertise nitong grupo natin because they were not able to get near this group composed of about 40 elite fighters of the Special Action Force. Kaya pati mismong MILF hangang-hanga dito sa grupo na to. But unfortunately, as I said, 44 SAC troopers were killed.
Oo, so parang 44.
Isang SAC trooper lang yan.
Opo.
Yes.
Oo, parang 44 against about 1,000 of others.
Hindi lang 44 talaga, Juan. Kasi dun palang sa Seaborn na yun, umabot na sila ng 40. Tapos iba pa yung reinforcement. Yung nila, yung grupo ng galing sa Zamboanga, kasi yun yung naubos eh. Yung 55th. Yun yung yung halos naubos yun yung 55th.
Parang sila po yung na-stuck.
Iba pa yung 55th and Seaborn. So iba pa yun.
And Mayor Benji, what was the median age at the time of the soldiers? They were young soldiers at that time.
Yes, many of them siguro nandun sa age range ng mga 28 to 32. Mga ganun.
So napakabata.
Kasi these are young people. And many of them were members of my battalion noon. And the seaborne kasi is, yun yung unit na binuo ko. I created the seaborne. I founded the seaborne. And they have, very extensive and very discreet training under the U.S. Navy SEALs.
So US Navy SEAL po ang nagtitrain when it comes to the seaborne, the Special Action Forces. And
the first group was trained by the U.S. Navy SEALs.
And Mayor Benji, you said you've also operated before in Mama Sapano. Is it normal talaga in that area na the community carries their own arms? Because as you said, in this case with the Special Action Forces, they had to go, basically they were sieged by the community. Ang nakalaban na nila yung mga members of the community. But it's normal na talagang may mga sariling armas po yung mga nakatira doon.
Yeah, you'll be surprised yung mga ganyang communities kasi halos every household have 1, 2, or 3 firearms. Kasi parang status ko yan sa kanila eh. I remember in 2000, 1999, when we were operating in Basilan at Sulu Island. Pag may wedding, the bigger your firearm is, the more respect you get from the community. Ganun yun eh. Ganun yung culture sa lugar na yan.
So ibang-iba po talaga because we have laws that prohibit carrying firearms without the proper license to carry and permit to carry. So in this area po, walang mga enforcement of having to be licensed and prohibiting the carrying of unlicensed firearms. Hindi na enforce.
May enforcement din naman, Attorney Karen. Kaya lang, napakahirap kasi nga, bago pa lang mag-take off yung ating mga kapulisan doon, siyempre, iniisip din nila na member ng pamilya o kaya magkakaroon ng rido, lalo-lalo pag nalaman ng kabila na yung impormasyon galing sa kanila, paano pa kung nagkaroon ng sakitan pa, may namatay. Yun na yun, yung rido. Kaya iniiwasan. Sometimes, you have to think na iba yung reality, iba kasi yung situation sa Metro Manila, iba rin yung situation sa Hulong. These are different, very different situations. These are realities that you have to, face and you have to consider. We might be very strict sa enforcement natin, pero talagang may mga peculiarities and complexities kasi sa isang environment, sa isang lugar. Kaya talaga yun rin ang kaya naapektuhan din yung law enforcement.
Yes. And understanding that type of community and landscape, Mayor Benji, ikaw po yung nag-start nung Seaborne, which is an elite group that is trained by the Navy SEAL of the U.S. In this case, nakita po natin na despite how well they were trained, we lost 44 members of the SAF. What was the effect on you of the Mama Sapano incident? Because parang yung elite force na na-create ninyo, ang dami pong nawala na tao sa inyo because of that. And like you said, yung unfortunate dito is some of the, perhaps yung pagka-implement ng Oplan Exodus, some of the miscommunications. How did this incident impact you? And later siguro po yung lessons that you learned from this incident.
Yeah. Well, alam mo kasi the following day, nangyari yan kasi Sunday. So Monday, immediately we flew to Cotabato. Tapos nagkaroon, nung dumarating na yung mga katawan, okay pa sa akin eh. Kumbaga parang hindi pa nag-accepting sa akin kung ano nangyari because I was more focused on organizing yung investigation teams na gagamitin ko. But during that time, I was not yet appointed as the head of the Board of Inquiry. Pinaprepare ko lang as CIDG head. Pinaprepare ko lang because I need to be very proactive about it. So I stayed behind for 2 more days kasi dadalhin kami, sabi ko kay General Spina, sir, kami na lang magdadala sa Manila. So nung dinala namin sa Manila, tinurn over na namin yung body and yung nga, nag-resign na si General Inking as siya yung interim kasi na head ng Board of Inquiry. So nagsabi siya, sir, I would like to resign, sabi niya kay General Spina because, sir, meron akong, sabi niya, baging bias ako because I'm occupying this position and I have some sentiments against the Special Action Force. Why I was not informed about it despite the fact that I'm the area commander, sabi niya. So may biases siya, kaya nag-resign siya. The following day, during the event, yung ceremony sa loob ng bikutan, doon na lang nag-setting sa akin kung anong nangyari. At doon na talaga ako umiyak. Secretly talaga, humagulgul ako eh. Umiyak ako na umiyak noon eh. Na hindi ko alam, nakikita ko na yung mga mukha ng mga tao na nakalagay na sa casket. Doon na lang ako umiyak na umiyak. Tapos doon na rin yung araw na yun that I was designated as the head of the Board of Inquiry. So, during the investigation, doon namin nakita na napakarami palang lapses, napakarami rin palang mga missteps. And these are lessons that should be studied and at the same time disseminated to all our special units so that this will not be committed again. Hindi na maulit ito.
And Mayor Benji, this is already now the 10th year anniversary. So lumabas na po 10 years ago yung report that the investigation committee that you headed, that time it came out already. And we saw there yung naka-reveal naman doon yung Oplan Exodus. So, sino po yung mga involved talaga? As you said, some, like Espino, they were not involved in the planning. Sino po talaga yung mga kasama sa planning?
Well, the core planners are actually members of the Special Action Force led by General Leo Peñas. Kasama rin dyan si General Purisima, Alan Purisima. And regularly, they update the President. Regularly, they provide yung progress report nila kay Presidente. And at the same time, I'm pretty sure na ako, very confident ako na walang kalam-alam talaga si Secretary Maroja. Because I saw his reaction. Ganon din si DND Secretary. No? Nakita ko yung reaction nila when during the briefing, talagang galit na galit sila. Tinatanong nila si Leo. But then when Leo, di na niya mapigilan, kasi talagang sinisigawan na siya. Nung hindi na niya mapigilan yung sarili niya, sinabi na niya na the President is well informed of the operation. Kaya tumatala.
And since we know who was really involved in the planning of Oplan Exodus, ang tanong po sa mga Pilipino, bakit wala pang nananagot dun sa nangyari, dun sa SAF 44?
Well, cases where alam mo naman kami, we're just a fact-finding body, you know. And Attorney Karen, you help us a lot, especially in the preparation of the document. Not a lot of people are aware of this, kaya napakalaki ng role ni Attorney Karen dito. On the sidelines siya nagtatrabaho. But nonetheless, we prepared all the documents. We gave it to the investigating body, sa NBI. Tapos pinadala din namin ng kopya yung National Prosecution Service. So, nag-file naman ng case. But unfortunately, all the cases that were filed were dismissed. No? Tapos, nag-refile ulit kami when I became mayor. I was asked again by the families, represented by Attorney Ferdy Topacio, na mag-file uli kami. So, binago namin, winidraw namin yung weak cases, tapos nag-refile uli. Pero unfortunately, na-dismiss uli yung case. Kaya hanggang ngayon, nakalungkot nga na wala pa rin nananagot. Ang daming namatay, wala pa rin nananagot.
And in terms of...
Siguro, yes, please go ahead.
Pag-assistance naman po ba may natanggap yung families of the victims?
Believe me, Attorney Karen, they were given ang assistance, ako na magsasabi sa iyo, yung assistance na natanggap nila, financial, educational assistance, all the other assistance, coming both from government, private sector, and from the U.S. government. Ako na nagsasabi sa iyo, kung yung sundalo nakakatanggap ng 1 inch, compare mo na lang, 1 inch, yung mga SAC troopers na namatay, kasama na rin yung kanilang pamilya, probably mga 1 foot, 12 inches ang natanggap nilang mga benefits.
So hindi po parang akma yung natanggap nila for the service that they provided to the country?
Well, alam mo, pag namatayan ka, maski na ano pa, hindi mo ma-quantify yung loss. Pero when it comes to benefits, na natanggap nila. Sabi ko nga, kung yung ordinaryong sundalo, pulis, kung namatay sa gera, ang tatanggapin lang niya is, let us say, 1 inch of benefit. Ang natanggap ng mga SAC troopers natin is 1 foot of benefits, 12 inches. Talagang maraming naibigay sa kanilang tulong.
Galing po sa gobyerno ito?
Both government, private sector, pati na rin sa assistance from the U.S. government. Malaki po na itanggap nila.
And in your personal opinion po, is there something that should be done by the government further to address this issue? Or do you think justice would be elusive at this point? Because former President Benigno Aquino III, who was the head of the government at the time this occurred, has already passed away. And when it comes to benefits, at least na alagaan naman po yung families ng SAF victims. But from having a case precedent, meaning how we should deal with incidents like this, do you think dapat magkaroon pa rin ng some form of retribution from a judicial standpoint?
Well, alam mo, wala na tayong tinitingnan nga namin. Are there new evidence that would prompt the filing of another case? Wala na eh. In-exhaust na lahat eh. So siguro, ang naisip namin is let's move forward, time for healing, and then just learn from the incident. It should teach us about effective leadership, about interagency collaboration, about communication, thorough planning, yung tinatawag nating C4, yung cooperation, coordination, communication, and collaboration. Alam mo, yun yung importante siguro. Let's learn from it. Let the armed forces and the Philippine National Police learn from it. And at the same time siguro, tingnan din natin balikat uli natin yung basically the situation in the area. What causes that conflict? Itong conflict sa society. Ito nga, nangyari na uli itong basilan. Marami na namang misunderstanding at misinterpretation yan. So talagang kailangan talaga na lasting stress solution for us to be able to attain peace in Mindanao area. So kailangan talaga rito matinding pang-dialogue, talagang matinding empowerment ng mga communities. Ang dami pang dapat gawin pala. Hindi pa pala tayo focus dito sa ating peace process, Attorney Karen.
Yes. And at that time, Mayor Benji, when the Mama Sapano incident occurred, how did that affect the peace process between the government and the MILF?
Siyempre, na-strain yung relationship. In fact, maganda na nga yung takbo nung ating peace process noon, yung ating ongoing talks with the MILF. Pero na-stall. Na-stall yun. It was stalled because of the incident. Because there was so much distrust between government forces at MILF. Complicated by the Mama Sapano incident. Pero eventually, naka-recover, and that's the reason why the BARM was created. I think this is the 6th year of the BARM now. At marami na silang naharap ng mga challenges. Ngayon, nagkakaroon ng mga breakaway groups, pero pinipilit naman ng mga MILF na unify lahat. Pero siyempre, there will always be disgruntled people inside any organization for that matter.
And ngayon po, nagmeron namang encounter sa Basilan po. And this also involves the MILF or groups that are related to the MILF. Ano pong masasabi ninyo with this recent incident?
Well, pinapanood ko nga yung video na parang someone is rejoicing. Pero siyempre, hindi natin malaman ano bang grupo yan. Are these MILF fighters or are these the breakaway groups, members of the breakaway groups? Hindi namin alam eh. Kaya better siguro that for the meantime, I'll just pass judgment. And wala muna akong comment until I really determine kung sino talaga yung perpetrators at the same time who are the people who were seen in that videos.
When it comes to the Seaborn, ano na po yung updates ninyo? So ever since the Mama Sapano incident occurred, were there changes to the way the Seaborn is trained or in terms of planning yung mga operations po nila?
Alam mo, Attorney Karen, sad to state na in so far the Seaboard is concerned, no? I'm proud to say rather, they did not commit any mistake during that operation. They performed very well. They were up to date. They performed their immediate action drills perfectly. That's the reason why they were able to reduce their casualties. They were able to account for their casualties, their fatalities as well. Diba? Nakita mo, hindi nga nakalapit yung ang dami-dami na. Sabi nga nung battalion commander ng MILF, sir, pinagtulungan na nga namin yan eh. Pinagtulungan na nga namin pero hindi kami nakalapit. Ang gagaling ng mga bata na yun. Sinabi sa akin mismo. No? Kasi, di ba, pumasok ako sa Darapanan to conduct the investigation noon. Yun yung major MILF camp. But, ang dun sa problema dun sa 50-50, yung unang na wipe out na grupo. Doon talaga yung may nakita kami mga lapses doon. So anyway, nagkaroon na ng debriefing. Immediately after that incident, extensive yung kanilang debriefing, extensive din yung kanilang introspection na ginawa para malaman nila and learn from that incident. So marami na rin changes na nangyari, pati na rin pa nila mga doctrines. Dami na rin changes na nangyari.
But it's good to hear that having the Special Action Force is still an ongoing initiative of the government. Yung funding po ba, do they get funding support to continue, having this type of elite training?
Well, alam mo kasi, Attorney Karen, yung Special Action Force na ngayon is very different from the Special Action Force when I was there. Nung time na I was there, mga lang 4 lang kami na batalyon So when you talk about 4 battalions, we're just about 1,800. Ngayon, almost 16 battalions yata, 12 battalions, napakalaki na. How can you support an elite unit with that number? Di ba dapat, for you to be able to really, sustain yung status mo as elite unit, dapat konti lang talaga kayo. Konti lang talaga kayo. At talagang you're just cutting edge. Kumbaga parang rapid deployment unit ka lang dapat. Hit and strike, deploy, hit, strike, and then withdraw. Dapat, ganun lang dapat siya. Pero nangyayari kasi doon sa SAC natin ngayon, nagiging territorial force na nila. Kaya nawawala na yung kanilang, kumbaga, naiiba na yung kanilang mga mission para na silang mga territorial forces na nandideploy na lang ng pagmatagalan. So siguro it's something na dapat i-consider din ng Philippine National Police yan. Na better siguro na yung mga sobra dyan sa Special Action Force, ilagay na lang sa mga istasyon. Kasi yun naman ang kailangan natin, police visibility. In a way, na significantly reduce na rin naman yung threat natin sa New People's Army and at the same time, threat na rin sa itong Islamist terrorists.
And so, is the U.S. still...
Sabi nga namin, Attorney Karen, when I was there, we were thinking of SAP 1,000 lang. Kung pwede nga lang, SAP 1,000 lang talaga. Yun ang talagang vision namin for Special Action Force.
Okay, special po talaga and elite. And is the United States still providing training support?
Yes, tuloy-tuloy naman. Noon naman, naririnig ko naman na just like the armed forces, they're getting a lot of support from the U.S. military. Ganun din naman ang Special Action Force. May mga certain training na pinapayagan kasi as much as possible, ina-avoid yun na U.S. military will be dealing directly with the Philippine National Police because of we are civilian character, yung character ng PNP. Pero there are certain instances na pwede silang sumuporta, especially when it comes to terrorism at itong campaign against drugs. Pwede silang sumuporta niyan.
And Mayor Benji, what would be your message to the families of the survivors and the victims po of the Mama Sapano incident in commemoration of the 10th year anniversary of the Mama Sapano massacre?
Tulad ng binanggit ko kanina, Attorney Karen, I just would like to express our deepest condolences, sympathies to all the families who were affected. alam mo, hindi na natin maibalik yung buhay nila, no? Pero we will continue to remember them. And at the same time, rest assured that the government is doing everything to learn from the mistakes, the lapses, the missteps that were committed. Let us continue to honor their sacrifices, and it's time for healing. It's time for healing.
Well said po. Maraming salamat, Mayor Benji Magalong. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you very much, Attorney Karen. God bless you.
God bless you po.